People are thrown under the bus, institutions are thrown under the bus every day for the bottom line. This is no different.
We didn't cheat in football. That's unnecessary.
It keeps piling on, and we're a huge family, and this is just a huge blow to our family.
Jerry was a sick man. I just don't think that our program is defined by the actions of one sick individual.
And that Michael Robinson, one of the many ex-Penn State footballers here who are reacting with shock, sadness, and obviously some disappointment to what the NCAA levied in terms of some stiff penalties against Penn State. Now, not everybody thinks it was enough. Some people thought they should have gone even farther and given the program the death penalty, although a lot of people believe the punishment in effect is a form of a walking death penalty. Now, the program, if you missed it, fined $60 million, not be allowed to compete in postseason bowls for 4 seasons, football scholarships reduced, 10 fewer scholarships for the next 4 years, and all wins from 1998 to 2011 vacated. What that means is, and really this is what it was about, Joe Paterno no longer will be the winningest coach in college football. And today, former Penn State president Graham Spanier says he wouldn't have ignored the child sexual abuse complaints, and by the way, he's facing some major legal problems as a consequence of some of the email trails. He says he never ignored it because he was beaten repeatedly as a child. That's his argument, and again, he, the former president of Penn State. His attorney reportedly received, quote, regular disciplinary beatings by his father and had to have his nose straightened out several times. All right, whatever that says, I've got a question, guys. Do you think at the end of the day, and Richard, you weren't here, and I'll start with you, that it was a fitting punishment for the school? A lot of people said the kids there today obviously had nothing to do with it, and they're the ones that are going to pay a price.
This is whatever happened would have been too much, too little, the right thing to do, the wrong thing to do, all at the same time.
Yeah.
The key, the principle ought to be focus on the people who did wrong and punish them severely. There is an argument to be made that some of the pain is going to be felt by people who had nothing to do with the wrongdoing. That goes to the institution, Penn State being punished, not just the individuals. You know, I can make the case, not just as a lawyer, I can make the case that this was the right punishment. I can make the case it was the wrong one.
If you were the NCAA, would you have come down the same way?
I would have quit and turned to Dominic and say, you decide.
Well, Dominic, I know you said yesterday that you didn't, you thought it was too harsh for the kids, but the definition of institutional control, the 4 most powerful people at the college who left the board out of the decision, from the coach who we know is a legend to the AD to the VP of business and the president, they knew, if you believe the Free report here, and they actively covered it up, put more kids at danger. We know all that. Why isn't that the definition of institutional lack of control, and the school had to pay a price?
Because maybe not to this extent, but it happens at every major college.
Nothing like this.
Every major college.
Not rape of children.
We can
that's
put on.
different.
We can. No, I agree with you on that.
We
can put on the blindfolders and act like it doesn't happen. But at every major sports program, the president reports to the coach, and the president knows a lot more than they let on to.
But did what the NCAA did in its penalties with Penn State, is that enough to stop that kind of culture from sprouting and taking root in other schools? But do you think that's enough? I'm not convinced that it is.
I don't think anything could be enough, Andrew. I think one of the things, I liked what Emmert said yesterday, but he said we have to start making the student athlete, not the student, student first and then an athlete. This is the same time as the NCAA created the playoff system and now have bidding wars for the bowls. But anyway,
this will incentivize not getting caught. I don't think this will end up culture.
I agree with most.
I think they'll come forward.
Most of the penalty. The $60 million sounds like a lot, but it's really 1 year of revenue for the program. The part that bothers me is the athletes who participated in the bowl games, the athletes who won games on the field, who knew nothing about the perverted behavior and the cover-up of the coaches and of their administrative leadership, are in some respects being punished because those games, those victories are being vacated.
I agree with you.
And that kind of bothers me.